Jack Archer was a 17-year-old struggling with drug addiction and anxiety. On October 10th of 2020, he overdosed and wound up in the hospital the next day. Between the dates October 11th and October 20th, a lot of things started to happen. Jack even seeing a burning building in the distance. The world seemed to have something wrong with it. Dylan and Parker were brothers. They're both in their early teens, one 13, one 14. Parker put on the news and saw what happened. There's reports of people eating each other, people being violent, and the signs of the apocalypse starting. Jack also at the same time saw the reports too. That's when the infected came. Parker and Dylan lost both their parents right at the start. This is where the apocalypse starts. It's now November 25th of 2020. Parker and Dylan are surviving on their own in the woods while Jack runs around alone, both trying to scavenge for whatever they can get. However, neither of them have met yet. The story just follows both of their perspectives. Other than the infected wandering around, the military were making their rounds too, to kill any civilians and hoping to contain the virus. But not only did Dylan and Parker manage to survive the infected, but they also managed to fight back against the military, using the woods to their advantage. For being so young, they adapted fast. They managed to capture a soldier. He told them what happened. They found out that the virus started from a bioweapon that went wrong. But if that wasn't harsh enough, the army wasn't the only problem they had to deal with. They ran into a psychotic survivor who had an obsession with hunting them and killing everything in his path. He stalked them for a while. But after running and hiding for a long time, they managed to kill him. One year has passed. Dylan and Parker are still going strong, constantly moving from place to place. They end up running into an enemy group of survivors that call themselves the CED. They try to escape them, but only lands themselves in more trouble. They did their best to fight against this small militia, but after all, they were just kids. Another year has passed. Dylan and Parker made a home out of an old rundown basement. They used it to hide from the CED. It was rough, but eventually they made it to the spring. Meanwhile, South Carolina, a 22-year-old man by the name of Andrew Lennox scavenges for supplies. Back up in Pennsylvania, Dylan and Parker run into another survivor. It's Jack Archer. He's still alive. Jack has nowhere else to go, so Dylan and Parker let him stay with them. The next day, Parker goes out, and he gets bit. Shortly after, Dylan and Parker both get captured by the CED again. They both know it's the end. Dylan says his last goodbye before the leader of the CED beats in his head in front of his brother. With the last of Parker's energy, he avenges his brother. Parker finishes them all off, shortly before coming to terms with himself. Jack Archer's been traveling alone ever since. He runs into Andrew Lennox, but he's very cautious with him at first. Andrew says he has a safe place where him and Jack can stay. After a while of traveling, they make it back to Andrew's truck, but it turns out it was looted by other survivors. Infected swarm, and Jack's forced to hold them off while Andrew starts the truck. It's out of gas, and they're forced to abandon it and continue on foot. They begin building a friendship as they travel, eventually finding a car. Before they knew it, they were back at Andrew's place. He had a friend staying with him, Lucas. The place had running water, electricity. It was perfect, situated under a townhome. Jack and Andrew go out scavenging before running into a group of bandits. They take Andrew's eye. Just then, a man in a skull mask appears. The bandits retreat. He helps Jack and Andrew out. We desperately needed medical supplies. Thankfully, Lucas had medical experience. Me and the masked man went out, and Lucas stayed with Andrew. We ran into more of those bandits, so we took them out. Turns out, they had the exact supplies we needed. Thanks to that, we were able to patch Andrew up. Before we knew it, the bandits came back, so we killed them all. 3 weeks later, we found a hut. Belonged to the masked man. He was running from something, he told us. He said his name was Damien. Glad to know we can finally know him. Lucas said he was going to go on a scavenging supply run. We let him, but unfortunately, he got bit. By the time we got there, it was too late. The horde was already there. Jack had to put down the infected Lucas. They had to leave their home behind. 9 months later, it was summer. Me and Andrew went out scavenging, clearing out infected. Jack and Andrew had a deep conversation about life, what it was like before the apocalypse. The next day, they find an old rundown house. They clear it of infected, and they fortify it. They find a bag of weapons in the basement. Jack finds a machete, and Andrew finds a magnum. The next day, Jack goes back up to Pennsylvania. Shortly after Jack comes back, Andrew wants to stay and wait for Damien, but Jack wants to move positions. They argue about this, and it turns into a fight. However, they get interrupted by infected sounds from the cellar. Turns out Damien's back. Shortly after this, he gets a new jacket. Andrew and Jack apologize to each other. Before they know it, Damien left him a letter. The next day, that's where they go. They clear the place of infected and search for Damien. No luck though. The place gets surrounded by infected. Jack and Andrew get split up. Jack searches the woods looking for Andrew and Damien, but he gets jumped by an infected. He falls, lands in his machete, cutting his stomach. Andrew returns to the building to try and find Jack. He ends up finding a satchel on the roof. He takes it for himself, but then falls off the roof, cracking his head open. He manages to get up hours later, stumbling away. Jack's got a motorcycle now. He built it himself, and he takes it to go off and find Andrew and Damien. After searching the woods for a little while, Andrew finds his old duffel bag. As he approaches it, he gets jumped, but Damien pops out of nowhere and saves him. Turns out it was Andrew's sister, Frankie. They haven't seen each other in years. They spent some time catching up at her camp. Meanwhile, Jack still searches on his bike. Andrew and Frankie decide to go hunting. Jack still searches the woods. He finds their camp, but there he sees Andrew's bat, and he assumes the worst. They got no luck hunting, and when they get back to the camp, Andrew steps away for a moment. Jack comes around the tree and tries to kill Frankie, assuming that that's Andrew's killer. Luckily, Andrew comes back in time and stops Jack. He lowers the machete, sits down, but after a little while, they argue, and Jack storms off. Andrew and Frankie continue to talk. Frankie warns Andrew about a group called the New Order. She tells him how she barely managed to escape and used to be a part of them. The next day, Andrew leaves Jack a letter, telling him that him, Frankie, and Damien left because of the New Order, leaving Jack alone. This infuriates Jack. He feels anger and betrayal. He wants to find out who the New Order are, but he hallucinates Parker and Dylan. Jack wanders aimlessly. He's searching for something, but he doesn't know what. Kills a few infected, and turns out his bike's out of gas, so he steals a nearby truck. He finds a field, wanders through it, and he finds a man. He confronts him. Turns out he's a squad leader for the New Order. Jack kills him. Everyone heard the shot. Before he knew it, he was surrounded. They opened fire. He got shot through the shoulder and barely managed to escape. After getting more gas, Jack's back on the road. However, the trail gets blocked by a body. Jack moves it, then finds Andrew's bat laying close by. He inspects it, gets reminded of his old friend, and burns it. Just then he hears someone. He stays cautious. Turns out it's more the New Order. He pulls his knife out and decides to go take him out, getting the first guy. The second guy catches him though. After a bit of struggle, he overpowers Jack, and they capture him. The next day, Jack wakes up. The New Order asks him questions, but he refuses. Afterwards, the leader comes back. His men call him the Butcher. He's angry about an escaped prisoner. Blaming one of his men, he decides to kill him. He steals Jack's watch before pointing out the camp and knocking him out. Jack wakes later that day. A soldier grabs him and pushes him down a hill. The Butcher tosses him a knife. They force him to fight infected for their entertainment. An explosion erupts in the distance. Jack takes this as his chance to run, escaping just in time. Jack spends the next 5 months hiding from the New Order, surviving. While out one time, he notices someone crying. A person, thing he doesn't know. Approaches it cautiously. Turns out it's an evolved type of infected that can scream. It alerts his position to all the nearby infected. Jack kills them, but nearby, the Butcher and his men watch. A few days later, Jack cuts his hair. He builds a small camp just for himself. A few infected come by, but he kills them. He goes out on a walk, but in the distance, he notices a weird glare. The New Order found him. He returns back to his camp and fights back. Later on, he tries to sleep, but someone else shows up. It's another person. He introduces himself as Javier Jackson. Jack's very cautious with him though. He tells Jack that all of his people were slaughtered by the New Order, and he also used to be a doctor before the apocalypse. Lastly, he tells Jack where the New Order's base is, so they both team up and decide to take it themselves. The next day they go there. They attack it. There's a lot of them, but they manage to finish them all off. They find a couple other survivors, but the Butcher's nowhere to be found. But they take it as a win, watching the sunset. Jack tells them that they're going to build a group together. It's now been 2 years after defeating the New Order, 6 years after the apocalypse. Jack's searching for supplies for his group. He finds some, but gets jumped by 2 people. One of them cuts him in the face. Turns out, it's Parker and Dylan. Jack hallucinates them once again. He discovers he has schizophrenia, and he decides to take his own life, but backs out of it last second. He makes his way back to his people, grabbing a few supplies to circle back with. However, he finds supplies. Turns out the owner's still alive. He robs Jack of everything he has, but Jack retaliates and apprehends him. Tensions calm. The man's name is Chandler. He warns Jack about a hostile cult that lives nearby. Jack turns it down, but tells Chandler he can come back with him. He tells Chandler about his people. Chandler surprisingly knows about Jack already. Turns out, he knew Andrew not that long ago. He hands Jack his eye patch. Jack gets hope that Andrew might still be out there. 4 more years pass. Jack's out on a supply run, but he runs into the Butcher again. He's still alive and has been surviving in the woods. Him and Jack fight to the death. The Butcher reveals that he killed Frankie, and in return, Jack kills him. Jack and Chandler go on a supply run, and they encounter another screamer. Jack holds off the infected while Chandler goes and kills it. They regroup. Jack tells Chandler he killed the Butcher. They meet back up with the others. Jack insists on taking watch. While Jack's out, Mike tells the rest of the members at camp that he wants to kill Jack and he wants them to help. Jack overhears this, and secretly, he kills Mike. Back at camp, Savina finds an artifact. This freaks Chandler out. He says they need to leave. The artifact belongs to the cult that he warned Jack about years ago. Jack refuses to leave and tells everyone else to stay put. Chandler splits off. After not hearing from Chandler for a while, they get what little supplies they have and go out to search for him. Meanwhile, Chandler hears the cult. He tries to run, but he's not fast enough. Slowly, the cult managed to capture every member of Jack's group. They round them all up together. The cult calls themselves the Sinners. They are by far the most dangerous threat that they've ever encountered. Javier headbutts the leader, and in return, he cuts Javier's tongue out, before warning them that they'll be hunted until they're all dead. Jack is terrified. He knew he should have listened to Chandler. The Sinners begin by splitting everybody up, forcing them to find their way back to each other. The leader finds Chandler and nearly beats him to death. Jack finds him just in time, though, and saves him. Savina wanders the woods looking for her friends. She gets cornered by an infected. Jack and Chandler come just in time. After this, Chandler needs to rest. His head still hurts pretty bad, so Jack and Savina wander up a little further. A sinner comes to attack him. Jack tells Savina to run, and he fights it off, nearly dying. Luckily, Savina saves him. She also finds Javier. Javier patches Jack up, but not long after, the sinners returned, chasing them off. They capture Jack and Savina. Jack begs them not to do anything, but the sinners don't listen. Jack mourns Savina. He feels guilt from failing to protect her, but Chandler gives him motivation. They're gonna go finish off the sinners. Jack and Chandler rescue Javier. Before getting ready, they have one last drink together. They go and ambush the sinners. They fight as best they can. The leader shoots Javier. Chandler tries to fight back and gets stabbed and left for dead. Jack comes in and finally kills the leader. He barely makes it out of the woods. But luckily, Javier's there. He survived. He helps Jack. But he goes ahead. More sinners come. They capture both Jack and Javier. Once they think this is it, the sinners turn on each other. It turns out, it's Damien and Andrew. They joined the sinners years ago after escaping the New Order. Damien and Javier stay back, while Jack and Andrew catch up. Andrew reveals to Jack that the butcher did kill Frankie years ago. She never made it out. Jack's still mad at Andrew for leaving him. It breaks out into a fight, and in a fit of rage, Jack kills Andrew, stabbing him to death. Javier and Damien stumble upon the scene, but mysteriously, Damien gets shot. He says his goodbyes. Jack hallucinates Andrew with him there the whole time, blocking out the fact that he just killed him. But it was only Jack and Javier that walked away that day.